Welcome to part 2 of our adventure at Round Valley in the Jacinto Wilderness. In this video, we take a day hike on the Long Valley Loop and make our way back down the mountain via the Wellman Divide. We have some interesting history to share about Wellman. We also came face to face with a rattlesnake on the trail. Here we go.
Good morning. Here we are at our camp at Round Valley, and today we are going on a day hike to Long Valley. We're going to the tram station, and then from there we're going to take a trail called the Desert View Trail. It's a loop trail that goes from the bottom of the tram station, and after that we're going to wind our way back over here again.
This is Round Valley Ranger Station. The 12 by 14 foot boulder, fieldstone and peeled log cabin was built in 1935 by the Civilian Conservation Corps together with the National Park Service. The high peeled log exterior walls and rubble chimney give it an imposing and unusual appearance, especially out here in the wilderness. Prior to the pandemic of 2020, this structure had been continually used as an outpost for 75 years.
Although this tool shed was built later in 1953, it was done so with respect to the 1930s-era ranger station it serves. Both buildings are registered in the Mount San Jacinto State Park Historic District.
Unlike most wilderness camps, Round Valley has this dry whiteboard. You sign yourself in with the date, sign yourself out when you plan to leave.
That water is not being pumped from anything, it is just coming straight out of the mountain.
The trails within Round Valley Camp have obviously been recently rebuilt. In fact, we witnessed evidence of the work on the way up. I'll show you shortly.
Yesterday on our way in, we saw tracks. Later, we ran into these machines that are used for the trail.
Just met two couples from Poland who they came up via the Wellman Divide and stayed at the same camp we did, but they came up on Thursday, and today they're going back down, and they're going back down the way we came up. Really nice bunch of people about our age, so hopefully they'll tune in and take a look at the video. So far we have done nothing but come very steeply downhill. 1.8 miles all the way downhill is preferable to 1.8 miles all the way back uphill. However, we will still have to go uphill. We're just not sure what the other way looks like, but this way is pretty steep. Oh my goodness gracious. And how did your husband fall to his death? Well, we were making this YouTube video. Down almost 1,000 feet in elevation, and we have arrived at the wilderness boundary again, the mountain lion sign. In all the hikes we've been in these wildernesses, we've never seen one, but we have talked to people who have.
The Aerial Springs Tramway was closed when we arrived due to the pandemic. However, we were lucky to be able to get some footage which we possibly wouldn't have got had they been open. This tramway was the brainchild of Francis Crocker back in 1935. Delays due to political opposition, together with World War II and the Korean War, meant that Crocker's dream wasn't realized until 1963. The inaugural ride was on September 12th of that year. The tramway announced an ambitious modernization overhaul in 1998, and by 2000, the current revolving cars were ready to ride. Having ridden in both the old and the new cars, we can safely say the newer versions feel a great deal safer.
When you come up to the San Jacinto Wilderness via the aerial tramway, you can do a great day hike. It's called the Desert View Trail. Head on over to our beginners section and you can see us take that trail with some magnificent views. Here we are at the ranger station, which is kind of in the bottom of the first loop we did and leading back up to the loop. If you press pause and went and watched our day hikes, welcome back. If you didn't, we're going to continue back on our loop and back up to our camp.
We have just left Long Valley Ranger Station and come to this trail junction here. We're about to take the Willow Creek Trail and we're going to head over to the high trail that goes over to Round Valley. Here we go.
We've come just a couple of 100 yards down the trail and check it out, guys. We're not used to such luxuries. Look at this, a boardwalk. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah.
On a blanket with my baby is where I'll be.
Prepare for a majorly steep incline coming up Willow Creek Trail. Also, as you can see, the trail's there, but oh no, it isn't. It's right here. They are working and doing a lot of work up here with mechanical movers, and they're making different trails. So be real careful.
A real trail will have wood markers like these.
After coming up quite a steep section of that first part of the trail, we're rewarded with this beautiful flat area at the saddle through these gorgeous woods.
Okay, we've reached the trail junction. We're leaving the Willow Creek Trail and heading down the high trail to Round Valley Camp, back to our camp. Here we go.
Here we are, back at the turnoff for Round Valley Camp. If you are doing the loop from the tramway, you would keep going to the right. But we are going to go up here on this beautiful trail and make our way back to the ranger station, fill up with water, and back to the camp. Settled back at camp, unpacked our day packs, and we refilled our water at the spigot, which I still think is very cool. And then we had dinner. Those peak refuel meals every one we've had so far has been amazing. So yeah, we're pleased with those. So we're going to settle in now and just chill for a bit and then go to bed. Well, good morning. We slept well, and we've had our coffee and our breakfast, and now we're heading our way back down. I'm really excited for this hike this morning. We're going to go via the Wellman Divide, hike neither of us have done before, and we've had a great time, so let's get going down.
If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. As we were packing up camp, this beautiful doe appeared less than 100 yards away. We were blown away with the amount of wildlife we've seen on this trip. We're attributing it to the lack of hikers, probably due to the pandemic.
Here we are at the Wellman Divide, looking across Tahquitz Valley, towards Tahquitz Peak.
While we rested at Wellman Divide, we met up with a lovely couple. We asked them what were 2 things they would bring other than the essentials. They said their refillable water bottles and a good attitude. Say hello to Miss Alyssa and Matt.
We hiked up about 700 feet to reach the Wellman Divide. Pretty steep, pretty rocky. Didn't get any video of it because it was first thing in the morning and it was pretty exhausting, so sadly we just didn't have the energy to video that. Kevin just informed me that this whole area that we're hiking through is called the Wellman's Cienega. I'm going to do some research and find out who Wellman was.
Both Wellman's Divide and Cienega were named after Frank P. Wellman, who moved to the San Jacinto Mountains in 1885. He ran a highly successful cattle ranch in Kenworthy, roughly 7 miles below today's Idlewild.
Although a well-respected member of the public community, in private he was a drunk and violent man who often threatened the life of his young family. Wellman was notoriously shot dead by his much younger wife Clara on August 4th, 1901. She was acquitted of the charges as he was said to have terrorized her and the children for 3 years.
In the early 1930s, the CCC and NPS mapped out the known trails in the area using the original cattle tracks from Wellman's high country grazing routes.
There you go. Here's Kev filling up our trusty gravity bag. And then he's going to carry that in the back of his pack. Sole pine cone. I love trees. Oh, and the views here aren't bad either. Uphill on a Sunday, really?
Oh. Young lady hiker passed us about 10 minutes ago, and just about 2 minutes ago she yelled rattlesnake on the trail. This is the first for us.
As you can see from this example, this is no snake you want to mess around with. However, it is essential to point out that we had no other choice than to go past the snake. There was no way we could avoid it without a 15-mile detour. We'll put a link in the description explaining what to do if you spot a rattler on the trail.
I went first, thinking that he was facing in the opposite direction because his rattle was on the trail and he really wasn't rattling, so he didn't seem angry. And so I went past him and then was hoping to take a video, but couldn't video him as Kev went past him. I was too frightened. And as Kev went past him, he lifted his head and was kind of looking forward, and oh my goodness. We made it to Saddle Junction about 30 minutes ago. We stopped, took our heavy packs off. Took our heavy packs off. We stopped for lunch. You can see the saddle behind us. The Devil's Slide is off to my left here, and we will be taking that down. It's about 2.5 miles before we reach Humber Park, where we're getting to the truck.
Got a great view here on the Devil's Slide Trail of Suicide Rock. That is the cliff face that the rock climbers ascend. For those of you who haven't watched our video on Suicide Rock, the hike to it, go on over and check that out, and you can look at the view across the valley from there to where we are. Really? It's going on here. Oh my God. You know, he does these things and he really thinks I'm not going to put him on the video, but I will. Almost down. Here we are. It's 3:45 in the afternoon and we've made it to the bottom of the Devil's Slide, back to Humber Park, back to the truck. Wow, what an adventure we had this weekend. As you can see from this relive video, we went up the Devil's Slide, all the way up to Round Valley, and then spent the night there, our first night. We then went on a day hike on the Round Valley Loop, which took us to the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway and a couple of day hikes. That was such a great day. Then we made our way back down via the Wellman Divide, back to Saddle Junction, and all the way back down to Devil's Slide. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications. From Kat and Kev, your wilderness wanderers, we'll see you on the trails.